arm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farrah doesn't flinch. He's Hacker.
I like a good serial killer documentary. He hasn't taken the pounding that wide receivers take.
It's just a pound job, and guys are tired towards that for a minute.
And he doesn't shy away from opinion.
I would be lying to you if I said I had not heard things. They're like a bad rash. You hear a lot of things. Some are true, some aren't.
It's Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
And a very good Thursday evening to you, Jacksonville. It is Hacker After Dark, 1010XL, 92.5 FM with Aaron Williams. The Hacker Ryan Green with you. Glad you are with us. A Thursday evening that finds us one day closer to a weekend that'll have a huge college basketball game here locally with Florida and Kentucky. We will certainly get to that. We will talk a lot about the NFL draft tonight. We will talk a lot about the Jaguar offseason prospects as well. And we will certainly look at the first half of the NBA season as the NBA does reach the All-Star weekend coming up here tomorrow. There might be a handful of games tonight, but by and large, most of the games will take place that have already taken place and we will have All-Star weekend beginning tomorrow with festivities there. So a lot to get into with you. We're in for Baloo till 8 o'clock. We're glad you're with us here on Hacker After Dark. Every night on HAD, we do kick it off with a big deal of the night. And Aaron Williams, let's do that right now.
Time now for the big deal of the night.
What's the big deal?
What is the big deal?
No, because it is a big deal.
On Hacker After Dark.
All right, couple of things. Guest lineup tonight looks like this before we get to the big deal of the night. We will kind of go down a Jaguar blueprint for the offseason with Leon Searcy. He's going to join us coming up here in about 15 minutes or so. Of course, you get Leon every day on XL Primetime, the former Pro Bowl offensive tackle for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Also, coming up towards the top of the 7 o'clock hour, we are in NFL draft mode. The Combine, less than 2 weeks away. Justin Mello of the Draft Network will join us, and we will talk about the NFL Draft, the Combine, a little Caleb Banks talk. He's a guy that is skyrocketing up the charts, the defensive lineman for the Florida Gators. And even though Jacksonville doesn't have a first-round pick, what they do have is 4 picks in the top 100. I believe pick 56, 81, 88, and 100. And just for good measure, I think they have like 117 as well. So they got 5 picks in the top 117. So we will talk about the draft class as a whole. We'll talk a little Carson Beck as well with Justin Mello of the Draft Network. That comes up towards the top of the 7 o'clock hour. And we will also, like I said, talk a little NBA. Trevor Lane of the NBA Front Office Show later on in the 7 o'clock hour as we recap the first half of the NBA season as we have reached NBA All-Star Weekend. So we're glad you're with us. Big deal of the night here on Hacker After Dark. It's twofold. Number one, let's rewind the clock back to last night and the Florida Gator basketball program. They go to Athens, a place where, by the way, they lost last year. In fact, that was the last game that Florida lost, was in Athens. They went on, obviously, to win the rest of their games. They went on to win the SEC tournament. And, of course, they went on to win the NCAA tournament. So maybe Florida had a little revenge on their minds last night. Look, the Gators were 5-4 to begin the year. They lost heartbreakers to Arizona, to Duke, and to UConn. By the way, Arizona, Duke, and UConn would likely be 3 of the 4 number 1 seeds right now in the NCAA tournament. It took Florida a while to figure out the backcourt with Xavier Lee and Boogie Flan, Isaiah Brown, Urban Clavshar. We know how good the front court is, of course, with Houck and Condon and Hanlogden and certainly Chinyalu. But this is a Gator team that was 5-4. They also, after beating up on a couple of cupcake non-conference teams, they also lost their first SEC game, another heartbreaker, to Missouri. So they were 9-5, 0-1 in the SEC. They've now won 9 out of the last 10. They've won 4 in a row. and they have absolutely obliterated the last 4 teams. They obliterated South Carolina by 47 on the road. They absolutely obliterated Alabama with Charles Bediako, who is no longer even eligible to play for Alabama. They beat up, certainly, on Texas A&M in College Station. And last night, another 20-point victory against a 17-6 Georgia Bulldog team. For the life of me, when this season started, I had hopes. I was hopeful. But for the life of me, after losing Elijah Martin, Walter Clayton, and Will Richard, for the life of me, I never thought at any point during the year I would honestly think that a repeat was possible. You know how hard it is to repeat as a college basketball national champion? It's incredibly hard. That's why very, very, very few teams have done it. UConn did it. Florida obviously did it, but keep in mind, Florida did it 20 years ago. Duke did it, but you're talking few and far between teams that have repeated. I don't know if Florida's going to win the national title this year. I would tend to bet that they're still not going to do it. But the fact that I'm sitting here on February the 12th, even entertaining the idea of winning a national championship, is somewhere I never thought I would be at the beginning of this season. This Gator basketball team, man, they are good. They are physical, and they are fun to watch. And it wasn't just the front court last night. A real problem for all of America, if you're not a Florida Gator fan, if Boogie Flan, Xavier Lee, Isaiah Brown, and Urban Klabshar, if the backcourt for Florida continues to play like they played last night, Florida will win the national championship because the Gators have the best front court in America. I don't particularly think it's close. The Achilles heel in all their losses have been they don't shoot the ball very well. Last night, they shot the ball really well. I mean, Lee and Isaiah Brown and Flan, I think, combined for like 43 points, something ridiculous like that. And poor Mike White in Georgia, they had no answer. They were cooked. I mean, it was 10-0 before you blinked. Georgia cut it to, I believe, 10 once in the second half. And Jimmy Dykes and Carl Ravitch on the call, they were trying to make a big deal out of it. Here comes Georgia, right? They never got within 10. Boy, the Gators put them away by 20. Probably could have won by more if they wanted to. They kind of called the dogs off, no pun intended, with about 3 minutes to go in the game. The Gators now sit at 18-6. They sit at 9-2 in the Southeastern Conference. And, man, they got a big one coming up on Saturday. As we mentioned, Florida and Kentucky at the O'Connell Center, 3 o'clock Saturday afternoon. National television, the return of Denzel Aberdeen, right? Aberdeen was a key fixture on that Gator National Championship team a year ago. He left in the transfer portal. That's the reason probably Boogie Flan is there, because Aberdeen left. It's going to be quite the scene in Gainesville, Kentucky, and Florida. We will certainly spend a lot of time on that tomorrow night, previewing it here on Hacker After Dark. I also want to get into the Jaguars a little bit here on the big deal of the night. You know, something that piqued my interest last evening was the conversation we had about Devin Lloyd or Travis Etienne. Is it an either-or situation? I think one of them is going to return in 2026. One of them is going to be gone. There was a while there I thought both are going to be gone. I no longer think that. And I also don't think that both will be back. I think either Lloyd or Etienne will return, and whichever one doesn't return will be elsewhere in 2026. If you transition that to Greg Newsome and Monteric Brown, right? Now, you got two corners that are both set to hit free agency in less than 4 weeks. In fact, I believe, what are we at? 25 days until free agency opens up. Etienne and Devin Lloyd are the two big ones. They're the ones everybody's talking about, and with good reason. They're your two best free agents. What about Monteric Brown and Greg Newsome? Does anybody Anybody listening right now want Greg Newsome back instead of Monteric Brown? Any takers? If there are, hit me up on the text line, designed by Lifetime Enclosures, 904-641-1010. Everybody that I've talked to, friends, text messages, social media, guests for the last month, when I asked the question about Greg Newsome and Monteric Brown, verbatim, without exception, it's Monteric Brown needs to come back. Greg Newsome, basically thanks, but no thanks. I didn't think Newsome was terrible after the trade from Cleveland. I thought he left things to be desired, if that makes sense. Is he what I hoped he would be? No. But that doesn't mean I thought he was terrible either. I thought he was adequate. I mean, so maybe that's not a ringing endorsement for the guy. I thought he was adequate. I don't think he was as bad as maybe some made him out to be. I think he was kind of a scapegoat against Buffalo in that game-winning, or those 2 game-winning drives where there were guys wide open down the field. Was that Newsome's fault? Was that a miscommunication with safeties and other corners in the secondary? Maybe we'll never know that because we really didn't find out. Now that the season's over, why rehash it? But I don't think Newsome was as bad as people made him out to be. I just don't think he was what we hoped he would be. Monteric Brown, I thought was good at times. Now, could you improve over Monteric Brown? Probably. But realistically, with the cap situation the way it is, if you tell me Monteric Brown comes back here with Jordan Lewis, with Jarian Jones, and yes, with Travis Hunter, and those are your 4 main corners going into 2026, I would probably take that. I do think one of Brown or Newsome will be back, much similar to Lloyd and ETN. I think one of those corners is back, one of them is gone. I'm just curious if there's anybody that wants Greg Newsome to come back over Monteric Brown. Because if there is, I haven't talked to him in the last month. Across the board, it's all Monteric Brown, Monteric Brown, Monteric Brown. But if you do lose one of them, let's say you lose Newsome, which I believe you will lose one of them. Well, then, guys, Travis Hunter is going to be a cornerback, at least to a large extent. Now, I'm not saying he won't play offense as well, but with Parker Washington doing what he did at the end of the year, which, by the way, was the last 5 games, he didn't have less than 87 yards receiving in any of those 5 games. You could argue, legitimately argue, Parker Washington was a top 10, top 15 wide receiver in the end of the year based on stats, league-wide. With what Parker Washington did, with the re-signing of Jakobi Meyers to a big-time 3-year contract extension, and obviously with Brian Thomas Jr., last time I checked, there is only one football, right? And Travis Hunter, I still want him on offense, but it might be a necessity to play him primarily on defense. Because right now, when you stack up the Jaguar wide receiver room and the Jaguar cornerback room, it's not even close. Based on who's under contract as we sit here on February the 12th, it's not even close. Wide receiver is one of your strongest positions on the team. Corner, dare I say, with the uncertain futures of Brown and Newsome, could be one of your weakest right now. I mean, if the season miraculously started tomorrow and you play with the guys you got under contract, you got Jarian Jones and Jordan Lewis, right? That's what you got of guys that played significant minutes and snaps last year. So you got to figure out corner. I think you bring one of Brown or Newsome back, probably Brown. Although, if you want Newsome back, please text me on the text line because I haven't heard from anybody that wants Newsome over Brown. And I do believe that Travis Hunter is going to have to be, because of necessity, a primary defensive back with a sprinkling in of offense. I wouldn't mind Hunter getting 10 or 15 snaps, but let me ask you a question. Who are you pulling off the field? Are you pulling Parker Washington off the field to put Travis Hunter out there? Are you pulling Jakobi Meyers off the field to put Travis Hunter out there? Well, you say Brian Thomas Jr., are you? I mean, what if Brian Thomas Jr. turns into the 2024 Brian Thomas Jr.? Are you going to pull him off the field? One question that needs to be answered, and we don't have time to do it right now. We're up against it. Leon Searcy's going to join me in less than 5 minutes. Maybe this will be something we dive into more next week. Did you notice when Travis Hunter was no longer on offense, how much better the Jaguar passing game got? Now, I think maybe that's a coincidence. Maybe that's the arrival of Jakobi Meyers. Maybe that's, I don't know, something else. I mean, you look at the Jaguar passing offense with Travis Hunter prior to his injury, and then you look at it afterwards. And it's crazy to look at the numbers. Is that all Jakobi Meyers? Is it the fact that Parker Washington was getting more snaps because of the injury to Travis Hunter? I don't know. But something changed, right? And the only thing that was noticeable was that Hunter wasn't out there any longer. I think Travis Hunter's a fantastic player. I'm happy he's here. I think he's cornerback 1 on this team next year. I just don't know about wide receiver because, again, who are you yanking off the field with Parker, with Jakobi Meyers, and with Brian Thomas Jr.? We'll get more into that certainly as the offseason goes on, but just something to think about on a Thursday night here in Jacksonville, Florida. We're with you till 8 o'clock. We're in for Blue. It's Hacker After Dark. We're glad you're with us. Coming up next, former Pro Bowl offensive tackle, my buddy Leon Searcy. You hear him every day on Prime Time. You've gotten him every week during the football season here on Hacker After Dark. We'll put a bow on the season. We'll take a look at the Jaguar offseason. Leon was a free agent many times. What's going through the mind of free agents right now? 3.5 weeks outside of free agency. Leon also went to the scouting combine. What's going through the mind of these prospects going to Indianapolis in a week and a half? We'll talk about all of it with former Jaguar offensive tackle Leon Searcy next. Hacker After Dark.
Jacksonville is listening.
Duval, baby.
1010XL.
Jimerson Burr is a full-service, Florida-based commercial law firm that has experience and capabilities to handle any legal issue a business is confronted with. Learn more about what they can do for you at jimersonfirm.com.
The doctors at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists have resolved my hip and foot issues, and I'm back to training for the 2028 Olympics in LA. This is Garrett Scantley, and I highly recommend Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
This is David Garrard. Following my knee surgeries and recovery, I'm continuing to feel great and would recommend Southeast Orthopedic to anyone who's experiencing orthopedic pain.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
This Date in Sports History is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On February 12, 1982, Wayne Gretzky scored his 153rd point of the season, breaking an NHL record.
Best Bet is #1. That's right, Best Bet Jacksonville, Orange Park, and St. Augustine have one-card poker, the fastest and easiest card game to learn and play. Play one card at a time, and the highest card wins even money. If the card values are the same, it's time for war, just like the game you remember. You must be 18 years or older to play. Learn all the games at bestbetjacks.com. That's bestbetjacks.com.
Hey gang, Hickett here. Guys, listen up. Valentine's is coming. You want to be a hero this year with something really romantic? It's easier than you think at Beards Diamonds. Beards has put together a stunning selection of timeless, affordable jewelry she'll absolutely love. Dazzling rings, sparkling earrings, elegant pendants and bracelets set with brilliant diamonds or colorful gemstones. Classic gold that never goes out of style. And you can't beat the wow factor of top brand designer jewelry. They got it all at Beards. And here's the best part. Right now, save up to 40% on all diamond stud earrings, pendants, and tennis bracelets. You know, cards, flowers, and candy are sweet, but nothing says I love you forever like a sparkling gift she'll wear and cherish every single day. Plus, Beards is your local Jacksonville jeweler, family-owned and community-strong for more than 45 years right here in the St. John's Town Center, not some Wall Street chain. Hurry in today. Don't wait. Beards Diamonds at the St. John's Town Center, Get up to 40% off diamond earrings, pendants, and tennis bracelets.
It's game day. Are your moderate to severe Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis symptoms keeping you from the action? Skyrizi, risankizumab Riza, could help you get back to the game. Skyrizi is proven to help people feel significant symptom relief, achieve remission, and visibly improve damage of the intestinal lining. Skyrizi is a prescription injection medicine for adults. Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines. Liver problems leading to hospitalization may occur when treated for Crohn's or ulcerative colitis.
Control is everything to me.
Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 prescribed biologic in Crohn's and ulcerative colitis combined. Learn more at skyrizi.com or 1-866-SKYRIZI.
When women lead, communities thrive. Hi, I'm Liz Grebe from the Jacksonville Business Journal. The JBJ and PNC Bank invite you to join Women of Influence, a powerful celebration